Hi, my name is Daniel Tacone, and I have quite an interesting real estate story. In fact, I think it's one of the more unique stories that I've ever heard, at least in my life, but it did actually happen to me, and it is still happening to me. I'm making this video to explain this story to try to get some help, because I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what else to do. I don't have the solutions. I have been dealing with this for almost a decade now. So let's go back a little bit and start with the beginning. Back in 2007, April, I had graduated from college, and what are you supposed to do when you graduate from college? You're supposed to go on and get a job, a career, and then you're supposed to buy real estate. I mean, that was what was in my head, at least. That's what I thought I was supposed to do. So I got the amazing job as a consultant in Miami, and this was at the peak of the market when real estate was hot. Obviously, April 2007 was right before the crash of the world for real estate, and then the next year was the stock market crash. So this lender at this development called Cedars Point Condominium, the lender was Great Country Mortgage, which we'll get to what happened to them later on. But it's interesting because they were offering these FHA loans that required only $500 down. So I figured, hey, I've got $500, let's buy a condo. So I bought a 400 square foot apartment, which was, well, a condo, but it was an apartment conversion, for $160,000 with $500 down. Now I had great employment. I could easily pay the HOA fees. I think it was like around $100 and $115 a month. Unfortunately, a lot of the other people in the building, A, did not have jobs, B, had never been explained what an HOA was. They didn't understand the concept. So after the developer had sold all of his units and relinquished his power to the HOA for the building's maintenance, well, the HOA didn't have enough money to maintain the building. Eventually what happened from April 2007 to about, I would say, February 2008, the building started to fall into disarray. The HOA no longer had any money to maintain the outside of the building. Elevators broke, trash wasn't being collected, just you name it, it happened. So much so that one night, and this was more toward the absolute peak of the real estate crisis prior to the stock market crashing, I see the HOA manager literally packing up his condo and fleeing the building. So literally the HOA left the building. No more HOA. So I decided to do the same thing. I was scared for my safety at this point. The building was being vandalized. I just didn't feel like it was a place I needed to be anymore. And 2 months later after I left, the city of Miami came in and this happened.
First look at what happens when a whole condo is caught up in the foreclosure crisis. It's happening to an entire building in Miami where a majority of the residents are in the process of losing their homes. And that's creating big problems for people who aren't in foreclosure on their units. CS4's George Estevez joins us from Miami. And George, this unfortunately could be a sign of things to come.
You are not kidding, Antonio. This is a sign of things to come. Right now, this building is not safe. So the city, for the first time, is stepping in and shutting it down. Take a look behind me. There are agents from the fire department here going unit by unit, making sure there is no one left inside this Northwest Miami building. This is just the beginning of a trend, people cutting their losses at someone else's expense. Daisy Cruz is picking up more than her stuff. She's picking up her life and moving it somewhere else.
For me, this is the first. I've never been evacuated. I've never been in a situation like this.
A first for this mother and a first for the city of Miami, who shut down this building off Northwest 17th Avenue because it's unsafe. The fire alarm system doesn't work. The elevator's broken. The garbage company stopped coming months ago because of an outstanding bill. Why all these problems? Foreclosure. How are you feeling right now?
Devastated.
Foreclosure forced 30 families at least out and left Cruz and about 17 other people to pay maintenance fees. Too many bills to keep a building up to code.
Yeah, I know. That actually did happen to me. So it has been 9 years since that point, almost 9 years. In those 9 years, my credit has been completely destroyed. I have never received one shred of physical evidence from the city of Miami that they had done this action. Never once has the city given me something in writing. Never once have they claimed fault for this. When I went to the unsafe building department back in 2009 at the city of Miami, they claimed to have never condemned this building. The building is clearly condemned. It is boarded up. I cannot live in it, I cannot sell it, and I cannot rent it. It is literally the perfect nightmare piece of real estate. Although over the 9 years I have tried to do short sales, I have tried to do deed in lieu of foreclosures, and I have tried to even foreclose, I have still yet to be able to do any of these things. I am desperate for a solution to this problem. I'm now 34 years old. This was a decision that I made when I was 25. For 9 years, this has haunted me, and all I want to do is progress and move on with my life and eventually buy another house at some point in my life. If there is anyone out there who can get this story into the news, get this story to the attorneys or the nonprofits who can help me with this situation, who can give me the answers that I need desperately from the city of Miami as to how or why this happened and how they were supposed to help us in the first place to get through this problem, I would be so grateful. Thank you. So like I said about Great Country Mortgage, yeah, if you type Great Country Mortgage into your Google browser, it's interesting what you'll find. You'll find that the FBI has indicted them for numerous counts of mortgage fraud. So essentially, I was part of a securitization scheme. If you've never seen the movie Big Short, The Big Short, I've lived it. I'm a part of that situation.